Hello, I am Megan and welcome to Battle Royale with Cheese, the website you can get all of your TV and film news reviews and trailers. And last night I went to go and see Jurassic World Rebirth. I apologise that this is a few days late. It's been really hot here and I actually did fall ill because of it. So I apologise for that. But this is one that I've actually been quite interested in. And I'm a huge fan of the Jurassic Park franchise. I like the Jurassic World. Well, two of the Jurassic World films I really like. And so yeah, I was really interested in this one. Jurassic World Rebirth stars Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey as they join an expedition to an island filled with dinosaurs, tasked with collecting blood samples from 3 giant predators to further help medical research. However, once they get there, they discover that the island was an experimental testing facility for the dinosaurs that didn't make it into the original Jurassic World Park. So this plot's a bit of a mouthful, but it's a lot simpler than what I've just described. It sounds like a lot, but it's a lot more simpler than what I described. So for me, I love the Jurassic Park and even the first two Jurassic World films. Dominion we don't talk about, but I've enjoyed the first 2 Jurassic World films and the Jurassic Park films. And yes, I was a dinosaur kid growing up. I'm a dinosaur loving adult. And I grew up with Jurassic Park 3, so I was 10 years old when that came out, and ever since then I've really loved the films. But from that I've also accepted that from number 3, I know what this franchise is now. It's going to be a popcorn flick, you switch your brain off for a couple of hours and just enjoy the ride with action scenes and dinosaurs. And this is kind of what you get. So in that, I'm not disappointed. I think the cast were great. Jonathan Bailey and Scarlett Johansson were the standouts. I thought they worked really well together. Scarlett Johansson plays this mercenary who's very clearly there for one reason. And yeah, it's that reason. But as the film goes on, she's convinced that actually there's more to that than with what she's doing. And I really liked her character. She's very direct and wants to get the job done. And is very like, okay, we can't really be messing around. We have a job to do. We have to do this, this and this. There's a whole section when they get onto the island of her just getting straight to the point. And I really liked that. I thought she was really fun in this. And Jonathan Bailey is a really interesting character because he's someone who works at a museum that his dinosaur exhibit has just been shut down. And that does make sense. They mention at the beginning and this was a plot point in Jurassic World, the first film, where people have gotten bored of dinosaurs. So him and his whole department and the dinosaur exhibit in this museum, with a world where dinosaurs now exist again, there's not really any reason for these exhibits to exist anymore, because we know they're real now in this modern world. So I thought that was really interesting, like his whole plot and motivation for going on this trip. I thought that was really interesting and made a lot of sense as well. But I think they could have gone a bit more into that, but I thought that was an interesting plot point too. And I also really like the concept of this film. The island that they land on is ancient, we're using it for a testing facility, crossbreeding dinosaurs with different dinosaurs and seeing what they could come up with before they got to the Indominus Rex in the first Jurassic World film. So I actually really liked that. I talked about this, I think, in the trailer talk video a while back. But I thought that made sense. There would be some experimenting going on. There would be some failed experiments as well. So that did make a lot of sense to me, narratively. And yeah, there were some really cool action sequences in here. There's one with a raft and a T-Rex. There's one involving, I cannot remember what the dinosaur's called, but a giant pterodon type dinosaur. Or creature, I guess they're not dinosaurs, but creature, like that whole sequence was really good. It was really well directed and choreographed, and I really enjoyed it. There's a few other sequences that I won't go into because they are a bit spoilerish. I won't be doing a spoiler section, but there is a spoiler thing I do just want to bring up, so I'm going to bring that up at the very end of the video, just before I do the outro. So you guys won't miss anything if you haven't seen the film yet. But yeah, just a warning, I'll let you know when that's going to be, because there is something that I had a problem with this film, but let's go into non-spoiler problems that I have with this film. So I sort of like the way that they've explained how dinosaurs and humans are not coexisting anymore. So if you remember from Fallen Kingdom, this was an idea that was brought up then. So humans and dinosaurs are now out in the world, the modern world, at the same time. Dominion completely ignored that. They've brought it back for this one, and how they've explained it away, and it is literally the opening of the film, is that dinosaurs now, they can't coexist with the modern atmosphere and climate that we have, so they've now moved off into the tropics near the equator of the Earth. And I thought this made sense. They would, to be able to survive, they would try and actually move to different areas and move to different lands to survive. That made sense to me. I do still wish that Dominion had been an anthology film instead. I wish they'd leaned more into that idea of dinosaurs and humans coexisting, because I thought that was interesting. So I don't really like how it's just been completely ignored now. There is also a couple of references to the original Jurassic Park and to Michael Crichton, who was the author of Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park: The Lost World. So I did really like the references in there as well. They weren't like stand out, they didn't like blare in your face. They were just kind of blended into the background. If you notice them, you notice them. If you didn't, it didn't ruin the story or anything. But overall, I sort of liked and disliked how they explained away, okay, well, dinosaurs are not really coexisting with humans much anymore. There's a side plot involving a family, and for the first act, I really hated them. I really hated them, and I know like the whole point of the Jurassic films is to have kids in them and to see things from their perspective, but I felt like that actually, again, for the first act and for some of the film, I really didn't like these characters, but actually, as the film got further on, and I started to like them more as they grew. I will say also, they have some of the best sequences. The first act's pacing is also really choppy. It sort of starts off quite fast paced and then really slows down to a slog, and it doesn't work. So once they get onto the islands, the pacing settles and is a lot more even. But yeah, the first act was a slog to get through. It was a bit all over the place. And there's also a theme or a bit of dialogue that I felt was quite forced about humans destroying the world through climate change, and you know, we're not the dominant species here, we just think we are, we're arrogant enough to think so. I thought that was all a bit forced. I kind of got what the theme was supposed to be from the last few films. So it felt very, very forced. There was a few scenes that I felt didn't need to be here. There's a couple of moments with Scarlett Johansson as well that I felt just didn't need to be here. They could have been cut because they didn't add to anything. But the one thing I did really like was actually, I said about the concept of the film, and the trailer showed some of these dinosaurs in the trailer. So the mutant T-Rex, the big six-legged thing with the xenomorph type head. There's a two-headed velociraptor, and there's a mix between a pterodon and a velociraptor in there as well. So these were all in the trailer, and I thought they were really cool. I really like the idea of mutant dinosaurs being a thing. I thought that was really cool. So this is where I'm going to put the spoiler. And this is the last thing I will actually say about Jurassic World Rebirth. So you're not going to be missing anything if you haven't watched the film yet. But I am going to say a spoiler thing now. So when there's going to be a spoiler text coming up here, just down here. When it disappears, I've stopped talking about the spoiler thing. Okay, so it should be here now. So I am now going to spoil something in Jurassic World Rebirth. So I really like the idea of the mutant dinosaurs, the D-Rex as they call it. Weird name, but I think it's really cool. I really like the, I think they call it a Mutadon, which is the two-headed T-Rex, Velociraptor, sorry. That's really cool. And the other mutant dinosaurs are really cool. You've seen them all in the trailer. Like, you've literally seen all the mutant dinosaurs in the trailer. And the mutant dinosaurs don't show up until the last 20 minutes of the film. This is another one that I was really disappointed by, because the rest of the time you are just seeing regular dinosaurs, which is still cool. Don't get me wrong, I did still really like that. I wish they had leaned more into that concept of experimental dinosaurs and the mutant ones instead. I wish they'd gone more into that, especially since this whole island was an island for those experiments, those failed experiments. So yeah, I kind of wish they'd leaned more into that more, especially with the concept they were giving us. But overall, I did enjoy it. Taking that all away, I did really enjoy Jurassic World Rebirth. The first act has a couple of pacing issues, and there's a side plot that I wasn't overly keen on for first half of the film, but it grew on me. And seeing the dinosaurs for the most part was pretty cool. Like I said at the beginning, I kind of know what this franchise is going to be now. I do wonder if they're going to do another one after this with how it ended. So I think that would be interesting. But yeah, I really enjoyed Jurassic World Rebirth. I had a really fun time with it. It's not perfect, but I kind of have particular expectations of what this franchise is now, and has been since 2001. I'm interested to see if there's going to be another one after this, basically. But I was Megan, this is Battle Royale with Cheese. See you soon.